we are finally doing it. We're finally making the series that I promised to you over a year ago. We are trying to become an iRacing Porsche Cup champion this season. And these seasons are 12 weeks long, and the first week is a banger. We're starting off with a banger because we're starting off at Le Mans, and you probably know Le Mans. It's very famous. It has a huge history, but it also has very long straights, which means insane draft that will cause some insane moments and some insane races, as you will see. Maybe for me, it's more important to know that you only get one lap of quali. Yeah. Now, before we get anywhere in this video, I did some practice races in which I got in the lead. I bottled the lead. It was a bit late, but I was way too late. I showed off my drifting skills. And I got called out by Max Verstappen for watching the Smurfs. I guess we're ready. Alright, so we're joining the Open Series, which means this is the first official championship race we are going to do. And it's like Maroon 5 once said, Sunday morning, rain is falling. Definitely here in the Netherlands. So we're the number 8 car. Here we go. Join me on, well, my only quali lap of this session. The lap is simply too long to get 2 laps in, so it's only 1 lap. You can reset halfway if you feel like your lap isn't that good, but you gotta make sure you watch the timer, because if you don't have enough time left, you will definitely not get a lap in at all. Running a bit too deep here, slide lockup on the right hand side, and now we are coming up to the best section of this track. It's called Porsche Curves for a reason, because these corners are absolutely insane, and maybe one of my favorites on all simulators, on all tracks that you can drive in simulators, if that makes any sense. Go all the way to the left side here. You can brake a little bit on the AstroTurf there. On the curb is the best way there. I run out a little bit too deep, to be honest, and you'll see why, because I hit the wall here, and a 0x in iRacing is no quali time for you. There we go. Like I said, at the back of the pack, but we do get the nice flyover. Decent launch. So if you have paid a little attention, you can see that I upgraded my wheel. The Fanatec set is gone and I replaced it with a Simagic set, which means I get the OP hand clutch. And look at that launch. I instantly get 2-3 positions even before turn 1, but as you'll see throughout the races, turn 1 will be a massive choke point. It's just a very tricky corner to get right by yourself. Imagine a start with cold tires. It's just very difficult, and it makes turn 1 look like a bowling alley sometimes. Not this time, luckily. As far as I can tell, everybody made it through, so compliments to everyone. This is a very rare occasion. We are still side by side here, coming up to Tetre Rouge. Can we make it through side by side? It's a very tricky corner if you have somebody on your outside. Just a little bit of oversteer. Gonna push now. That was a good start. That top speed though. Go. Kinda just want to follow him, really. Changed his mind at the last minute what he wanted to do. Or he tried to bump draft me and it looked a bit weird, but I don't think that's the case. So this is the theme of these races. It's a draft fest. If you are out of draft, you're simply out of contention, unless you're maybe the leader, but the leader is usually pretty quick, so the leader drags the other people along, and if you fall out of that train, you're pretty screwed. At least in my case, because I'm not as fast as the leader usually. And look at that. I'm not sure what Arnaud is trying to do here, but it does feel like we got lucky that that wasn't a massive crash. Let this guy go, because he's very impatient. I don't really care about 1 or 2 positions at this point in the race. I do want to be going forward, but it's just So this is the second lap of the race, and we are actually already a slowdown in that I didn't want to show you because I want to look like a proper pretend race car driver. But there's somebody off here on the right and no! Yeah, but that's the end of race 1. All right, race number 2 of the 4 attempts I get. Gonna need some good result now. I mean, it's technically possible to get a very good result this week, but it's at the same time quite difficult because you gotta be fast and lucky, not just fast. Fast and consistent and lucky. So that's 3 things I haven't shown in a race so far. So this is the quali lap. We're nearing the end of this lap and we're coming up to those magical Porsche curves once again. And as you'll see, the first part of the corner is much better this time round. I try to stick it as much to the right side as possible here so that the corner to the left is a lot easier. And I actually avoid the wall this time, but now the next corner is where it ends. Somehow I can't seem to get the quali down. I don't know what it is. Not sure why I did that, but here we are. Just wanted to go. That's fine. It is indeed fine if you start at the back and you lose a couple of positions. They're still at the back, so it doesn't really matter. And like I said, this choke point of the first chicane is insane. There's some smoke here, some cars off. We're 3 wide for a bit. We're just sticking it to the outside. We're definitely trying to keep our nose clean because aero damage on this track is a death sentence. Well, not really a death sentence, but you know what I mean. A no point score sentence. Somebody off in the gravel there too. So as you can see, I'm really trying to be cautious. Really just trying to stay in this race. 4x for what? For something. I guess for something. But we made it through once again. No damage. Let's keep it that way. Alright, so on the Mulsanne straight, now we're coming up to the first chicane. Cold tires, massive draft. You sometimes even bump off the limiter as we do here. But we're trying to be cautious because this is also a point where people usually outbrake themselves in lap 1 because of the huge speed and cold tires. You saw one car off to the right there, so that's another position to gain. Second Mulsanne straight, same recipe usually on the first lap. There's a draft train of maybe 10 to 15 cars, so usually you come up a lot faster than you usually do. So we actually decide to go for the move here because we want to move forward in this race, and it's actually a nice move if I say so myself. Running a bit too deep there, but it's not really a big issue. So that's a fairly good move. Now he gets the run though. But I want the slipstream. I want the slipstream. It's my slipstream. Now I've got a tutorial for you guys how to gain 5 positions in one corner by using this simple trick. Woo! Woo! A bit too exciting. Well, we're in a huge gap now. Alright, P13. Somehow. I'll take it. Stay focused. Couple of laps later, you can see we caught up to Tobias in front and we are passing Tim. Tim serving a slowdown. I think he went straight on the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight, and Tobias had a slowdown before. So we actually have a nice drafting group now, as I prove by bumping Tobias along the straight. That also benefits us obviously because we're in his draft and we're passing Aitor here as well. I hope I say your name correct, but I think it's Aitor. Also serving a slowdown probably. So that means we're in P11 pretty much from that last before the first turn. So yeah, definitely happy at this point of the race. But as you can see on the relative, it's gonna be very tough, if not impossible, to gain more positions than 10th, simply because the cars are 7 seconds off the road and we only have 17 minutes and 40 seconds to go, which is not a lot of time to catch up. And as you can see on the relative as well, they have a nice draft train too. Didn't really go for the move there, I just wanted to get a clear view of the track. Next car's up the road, 7.5 seconds up. Oh man. Already here, mate. Let's get a good couple of corners and maybe... Hope they start fighting. So here I'm choosing to overtake instead of bump draft because we have a 4-car group now, and experience tells me being the 3rd or 4th car in a draft group is usually where the danger starts. So I'd like to be up front here. I also felt like I had a bit more pace than Tobias in front. You can say whatever you want about this combo, but it is intense. Holy moly. So here we are, we're in the last lap of the race, and as you can see on the relative, our group of 4 has become a group of 3. Aitor made a mistake earlier and had to let us go. As you can see, we don't really have the best cards to finish in that P10 position at the moment. It's pretty hard to defend and attack at the same time, and as you can see on the relative, Tobias is closer to us than we are to Tim, so we definitely need a good chicane now. I think he's just waiting for the last straight to pass me, so I either need to get really close to Tim or I'm doomed, but I do have a nice draft. That was a good corner. Now we're close. Now we're close. Just gonna show the nose a little bit. Not gonna go for it yet. Was a good exit. This has potential. The gravel keeps on coming. There we go. Let's see what happens. So this is what it's going to come down to. This is the last real overtaking opportunity going into Indianapolis, and obviously Tim is forcing us to the outside here, so it's gonna come down to the biggest virtual cojones, and it's obviously me. Come on guys, were you ever doubting me? I know I was myself. That's good. You can tap there. Luckily we do have a slight draft from Dries in front, so that's good. So for this video alone I did 7 races, which is quite a lot actually if you think about it. I usually cut this up into a video that's roughly between 20 and 40 minutes. Now that's a lot of content that goes to waste for my feeling. It's just sitting on my hard drive doing nothing, and sometimes the races are cool to watch in full as well. So I was thinking about adding a membership tier to my YouTube for not a lot of money, like 1 or 2 euros, where you can access the full races. Now, I kind of want your opinion on this because I'm kind of hesitant to put it in place, but if you have suggestions or you think it's a good idea, I think it's a bad idea, just let me know, please. P10! Never been so happy with a P10. Oh, this is intense. It is time for race number 3. There we go. Let's see. Number 14 car now, actually. So even higher SOF probably. And higher chances of me getting good points. But let's get that quali lap in, shall we? First, that's kind of essential. How do I even catch my like why do I even bother? I say the track feels fast in practice, and what do? Absolutely bottle my first turn of the quali.
12 seconds later.
And we're already done again. This is getting ridiculous. Why? I just don't understand. Yeah, I guess over half the field, am I correct? 14? Yes, over half the field didn't get a quality lap time in. Over half the field. I mean, some might do it on purpose. I know, that's a thing. Not qualifying on limo. So we're starting in P19 actually, which is higher up than we were last time. The guy behind got a launch and a half. Everybody but me got a good launch, basically. Let's just stay safe. Stay out of trouble. We can run fairly deep here. No, don't drive! You shove. I know. It felt like the guy there didn't hold his brakes and he accelerated just in the back of him. Even though I tried to assess the situation, I was fairly incorrect because as you'll see here, I just get tapped from behind and get tapped another time, but I believe the first step was the one that caused the major damage to the arrow, and if it's something that you need on this track, it's top speed, and that was absolutely gone, so we're in damage limitation pretty much after the first chicane, which is quite frustrating. What was that? Honestly, quite an easy mistake to make. I tried to keep it single file, but if you just misjudge the train of cars and just taking your regular braking point, you are absolutely done for. Let's see if he pushes me or not. Good man. Now, in all honesty, this race was pretty boring. We have around 7 minutes to go, but I just couldn't attack. I had to be pushed. As you can see, I'm in a 4-car draft, I believe, and I'm not even getting closer. So, the draft of dreams, oh my days. I just had to wait and see what happens and pretty much hope that people crash or spin. It sounds a bit weird, but that's all I could really do this race, and just wait till it's over. Oh, he's gone! No, my pusher! Tom, no! Let's not do this. Or let's do it, because I had to get some movement in this race, and we decided actually to go for this overtake. I'm gonna get side by side here with Nathan for P15. We're side by side still, You can ride it around the outside here. You probably get more exit speed as we do. We actually get a fairly decent overtake done when we're in P15. Not unhappy with that. Do we have a run into the Porsche curves? Skipping to the last lap, actually the last sector of the race, and we do still have a battle going on. I believe Griffin in front also has damage, so this is probably the race of the damaged cars. We get side by side. On the entry and the outside here is very difficult to overtake, so I decide to maybe go for a switchback, but also that is almost impossible going through the Porsche curves, as there is basically just one racing line. Maybe if you're in a quicker car, a quicker class car, I mean, not just a quicker car, you can get an overtake done, but otherwise it's very, very difficult or nearly impossible. You can see that Lucas in front of Griffin is also struggling a bit, so we got a three-way battle of the damaged cars here. I'm just taking it a bit easy into the last corner. Don't want to bottle it at the last moment, because with this damaged car finishing in P15 and only losing 7 iRating is actually a decent result. Crazy race once again. It's just too bad we had damage from lap 1, but other than that, without the quali, considering words are difficult. Considering we filled quali again, it wasn't that bad actually. Race 4, last chance to get some decent points. Well, last chance. Technically I could do more, but we're gonna keep it at 4. This has been intense enough. And look at this, guys. We're going through the Porsche curves. We're avoiding the wall here on the right side. We haven't had an off track yet. So you could argue that this lap is still valid and that we are going to get a quali lap in. Or are we? Yes, very close to the slowdown there as well. But we're still going strong. This lap is still on. Let's see what happens through the 4 chicanes. I take it really cautiously, as you can see. I definitely wanted to get a quali lap in. At least just one time. That one time is enough. We're gonna get a lap in. It's not gonna be a world record, but I don't care. We got the lap in. P6 so far. We got the lap in, guys. Last race. Good launch. There we go. Into the final race we go, and we already got one position off the line. So we're in P10 actually. But you know this choke point, everybody drifting out wide to the left side, and then you gotta squeeze it to make the chicane. We do make it nicely. There's a car next to us, so we have to be cautious on exit. We do stay side by side there. Can't really turn in there, and he's still on the outside. Actually some decent racing going on here with cold tires on lap 1. Now I lose the position, and here I throw away my race because I just didn't expect him to brake that early. I got a slight lock up, and that's a slowdown. It might be a little excessive to say I destroyed my race, but you'll see serving this slowdown on lap 1 is the most frustrating thing you will ever do. This hurts. This hurts. This hurts. The quali lap has turned out to be for nothing. So it took like a lap or so, but we caught up with the field, and we're actually going to try to make a move into Indianapolis on Emil here. We do get the move done, but they bunch up a little bit more than I expected in front of us, so I forced myself to go a little wider than necessary, but Emil can get back at me. We stick to the inside here. We're giving him the space, but he doesn't really take it, and we're in front of him. So we made a pass. We're actually in P13, so that isn't the worst, in all honesty. Whoa! Whoa, boy. Side by side through Porsche curves can be something too. Not really a place to overtake though. Very nice, hard fighting here for the last top 10 position. You can see everybody get to the end of the Porsche curves, which is always good to see. I've seen them end in different results. And you see here now that Tobias gets side by side with Griffin coming up to the Ford chicanes. And if you can't go side by side to the Porsche curves, the Ford chicanes are even worse. So Griffin in front decides to wise out and not go side by side. Because if you make it to the last part of that chicane side by side, you're basically stationary. And as you can see, we were almost also stationary because we have a 5-car group now, or at least that's if you count the 2 cars in front that have a little bit of a gap. Trying to set up the car here for a nice exit, going full over the anti-cut. Griffin gets a nice exit too, so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. You see Tobias in front making a mistake, but he can't block us on the way out, so we have to go dive to the inside here. Oh no! Hold the brakes, hold the brakes, hold the brakes, hold the brakes. No idea how that happened. Well, it wasn't that complicated, to be honest. I just took the curb with an under angle. I might jump it a little bit more than I did in previous laps and just caused some oversteer I hadn't experienced before. So a bit unlucky, bit of driving skill, bit of experience. But as you can see here, now it's kicking off in the final lap. We caught up with some guys. I think Griffin is serving a slowdown here, and we're side by side here with Samuel, but we could get a slight push causing some oversteer again. We get another push, and we go into the side of Samuel, and it's a miracle that we're all still alive here. Somehow we're still all alive. Just casual 3 wide. Sort of. As we are nearing the end of the race, I'm taking this opportunity to say that I will be streaming on Saturday. Yes, you heard that correct. I believe it's gonna be my only live stream of this year, but I will be there. It's around noon Dutch time, so you can figure it out what it is in yours. We'll be streaming the Production Car Challenge Endurance Race. It's a 4-hour race on the Virginia Grand course, I believe. So it's multi-class, it's Virginia, it's GT4. We're gonna have a blast if you tune in. We were side by side, he pushed me on the gravel and then he moved under braking.
Man, you cannot close if you're going wide.
Luckily, I wasn't the only one that was a bit annoyed this race. Obviously, I made a mistake myself. That's something that happens, but I did feel the defense of Griffin there was a little bit on the extreme side. It did feel to me like he moved a bit on the braking, which is always dangerous to do. So we're gonna end this race in style, because in the last turn of the last race we're gonna do this week on this track, we're gonna get a nice 4X, as you'll see. Everything bunches up. I tried to avoid the slowdown, which I narrowly do, and there we get the hit. So where does this put us in the standings? Well, not great, as you can imagine. We're currently in place, here we go, 117. The points are actually not that terrible because of the crazy SOFs we got last week because of the popularity, but seeing that the top scorers got over 300 points, we're definitely starting off on the back foot. Now, if you don't know, we get 12 weeks, of which 4 are drop weeks. So I kind of hope this is gonna be a drop week in the end. Next week we're going to Road Atlanta, and that is a track that I absolutely love. So I'm hoping to get back in form there, at least with my qualifying.